I was born and raised in Detroit. I love my city. I adore all the growth and the architecture and all the amazing things we've accomplished, whether it be Motown or the automotive industry. And as I've traveled the world and spent time and lived in different places, I find that there's no place like home. Detroit will always be home to me, and it'll always be a place that I love. I love this staple, which is amazing. And it really inspired me to do my podcast, which is called Detroit Girl Transformed. I decided to do this podcast on Resilient Radio, which is a Black-owned station based in Detroit. And it really highlights the transformation of my city while I, as an individual, was transforming. And what kind of people come out of Detroit, which are really people with hustle and grit, who are determined and also exhibit perseverance. The podcast will really focus on different people that have different phases of transformation, whether it be their finances, their well-being, their travel experiences, how they transform their relationships, how they transform their spiritual beliefs. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, and that's what's best for our city, and that's what's best for our legacy and our future and our family. Welcome to Detroit Girl Transform. I am your host, Tony Carter. So excited to be here. Every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, you can find new content and great transformative stories from many guests across the country who talk about their journey of transformation. We're really excited about this journey. This is season 1. This is our live broadcast tonight. So we're excited about engaging with you on what the topic is tonight, which is money moves, where we talk about building a better financial wealth for the future. Again, I'm your host, Tony Carter, native Detroiter, Detroit girly. You can find me every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, really highlighting my experiences of transformation with different guests. Tonight, I'm excited to introduce our guest, Sharonda Myrick's. Sharonda is a seasoned accountant with over 17 years of experience spanning over corporate and private sector with a master in science and accounting. So what does that mean? That means she knows her stuff. She's also a boss in her own right. She's the CEO of Perennial Financials, which is a woman-owned minority consulting firm that she is really passionate about when it comes to empowering business through financial literacy and strategic insight. So Sharonda, welcome. So excited to have you today. I am looking forward to all the gems you're going to drop on financial literacy for Financial Capability Month. And if you could just share a little bit about yourself with everyone and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. First, I want to say thank you for welcoming me onto this platform to be able to contribute some information in regards to transformative goals and the whole finance thing. Again, like you said, my background is in accounting. I've been blessed and very fortunate enough where my entire span of my career of over 17 years has been in accounting in the corporate and the private sector. I also help small business owners with their business finances. And what I'm going to be discussing today is more so about personal. This is near and dear to my heart because during the pandemic, I really had to look at my personal finances really hard, which made me come up with ways that I can be able to generate generational wealth and then be able to maintain it so it can reach multiple generations after me. The biggest reason why I decided to do it is because I got to a point where I asked myself, the things that you are doing today, the decisions that you are making today, would the 70 or 80-year-old version of you be proud of what you're doing? And honestly, no. 80-year-old Sharonda would not have been proud of how I was handling personal finances. I just didn't have as much respect for it then as I have now, because I've been able to do these things that I'm going to share with you and everyone else today. And I pray that everyone execute all of these things, if not all of them. Start with baby steps on some of them. So let me throw the question at you.
Yeah, I'm
So
ready.
what is some financial goals that you have?
Well, I definitely want a yacht, 100%. Definitely want to be about my boat life. But one of my immediate short-term goals in the next 10 years, I would like to comfortably retire from corporate America and start my own consulting and do some executive coaching, as well as continue on with my media space of the podcast. So I want to do that financially in a way that I'm comfortable. And so I know that that's going to require a plan, some goals, and saving. So that's one of the personal reasons why I'm really, really excited about this particular episode, because I want to get to a point in my life where if I want to live in Italy for a month, I can do that, or whatever that looks like.
Exactly. And I'm glad you answered the question that way. That is perfect. And if anyone identifies with a lot of the goals and ambitions that you have, then this is the perfect thing for them. They need to listen up as I dive into at least these four top things that you most definitely need to make sure and take note of that you are doing or already have, and how to level it up in your life. So let me go ahead and jump into the presentation. Let me start with the first thing. So there are going to be four main things I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be diving into the high yield savings account. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be talking about a 401k. Hopefully, everyone has a 401k. And the third thing is a Roth IRA. I'm going to be talking about that as well. If you don't have a Roth IRA, I'm going to give you some good insight into that and how you can have a 401k and a Roth IRA at the same time. A lot of people didn't know that. And then I'm also going to be talking about, the last thing I'll be talking about is some documents that it is vital for you to have in place to be able to secure the first three things that I talked about. It doesn't make any sense to do all this preparation for your life later in life, right now and later in life, without having these documents in place to secure and protect it. So now that you understand what I'm going to be talking about, let me explain each one of these so you can know exactly what they are. Up first, I'm going to be talking about that high yield savings account. Now, if anyone's wondering what it is, it's not the traditional savings account that a lot of us have. I've had a traditional savings account since I was in college, but that's not the same as a high yield savings account. So a high yield savings account is still a savings account, but it has a higher interest that you will be able to benefit from compared to a traditional savings account. Hence the name high yield savings account. Now, just to give you more perspective, a traditional savings account, you can get interest paid on average 0.4% on a traditional one. 0.4%. Look at some of your bank statements. And if you have, I don't know, like $500 in that savings account, you will see they only gave you 0 point on that. So you probably earned $5 in interest. And okay. Whereas a high yield savings account, you have anywhere on average between 4% and 5%, whole percentage, no 0 point nothing, 4% up to 5%. So you can see why that will be the best option of where you would have your money sitting. I know someone in particular who is a high earner. They make six figures. And this used to be a client of mine. She made six figures and she had all of her savings, which was thousands of dollars, in a traditional savings account. And the interest that she was earning from it was 0.02%. And she had it in there for over 20 years. 20 years. So you can only imagine how much money she missed out on if she would have just had it in a high yield savings account earning 4 to 5% interest. Okay. A lot of times by the end of the year, you can have well over $500 in interest alone. Me personally, at the end of the year, I use my interest to be able to buy Christmas presents, not only for my family, but for my friends. It's free money that I didn't work hard to have at all. I just had a high yield savings account that did the work for me. Now, some common, um, well, let me tell you this. A good way to use it is first for your emergency fund. So your emergency fund should be the total amount of your cost of living. So if all of your bills, your mortgage, rent, utilities, regular household bills, if all of your cost of living is like $3,500 a month, you need to have 6 months up to a year. A lot of people say, hey, start at 3 to 6 months. I agree. But once you get it rolling, I say between 6 months to a year. Only reason why I say that is because of the pandemic. A lot of people had 3 to 6 months saved up. The pandemic, the world shut down almost a year. So a lot of people got laid off. A lot of people didn't have jobs. But if they would have had a high yield savings account with 6 months up to a year of savings, they would have comfortably been able to continue their way of life without any hesitation, on top of earning interest for the amount that was in their savings. So, first things first, have a high yield savings account and have more than one. So, have one for your emergency fund and then another one, what I like to call a sink fund. That's for if you want to plan to take a vacation. If you want to be able to account for any emergencies that will come up, such as repairs on your vehicle, things like that. Things like that. I mean, because you need brakes, you need a new refrigerator if it breaks down. So that'll be a sinking fund. Have two separate savings accounts so that way you don't commingle or get anything confused. Now, some common mistakes that I want you to avoid. A lot of these high yield savings account are FDIC insured up to $250,000. So a lot of people will continue to have over that amount in those savings account. In any event, anything happens, you're only going to be able to recoup the 250. Now, a good example is a lot of the businesses and startup companies in Silicon Valley. When they tried to do it, I think it was a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, they tried to withdraw money from that Silicon Valley financial institution, that bank, and they could only get up to $250,000 because that's all that was insured by the FDIC. And a lot of them had millions of dollars there. It was just gone. So once you get up to that threshold of $250,000 where it will be secured and insured and covered, open up a second high yield savings account and roll over that amount into the next one. So that way you can continue to hold on to your money and grow your money. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to hit on is the 401k. But before we go there, I want to pause for a second and hand it off back to Tony so we can have a brief commercial break.
Wow, I'm already I got a lot of work to do. I've been very transparent about that. So I first of all thank you so much for like really spending this time with us. I'm a big proponent of generational wealth, especially in the Black community. So thank you so much for this information. And I hope you all are enjoying. And I see Laila says she has two accounts and looking for one more. So I think that this is really great. We have some people on here who are really financially sound and building the community. So before we get on into the next half of the episode, we do want to pay the bills. And so we want to spend some time on a commercial break and really celebrate and appreciate our sponsors who have taken this transformative journey with us. And so if you are interested in joining the DGT team as an advertiser or sponsor, be sure to email me at dgt313podcast@gmail.com. Again, that's dgt313podcast@gmail.com. And now a special thank you and an appreciation for our sponsor, Potty Products.
We asked a group of scientists, what does it take to make the perfect toilet paper? And here's what they said. That's right. Use Potty products, please. Thank you.
Welcome back. What an exciting time. We have so much more information. So, Sharonda, I know you're ready to dive back in, but want to again do a special thank you to our sponsor, Potty Products, and also remind you one more time we're looking for more individuals to join our advertisement team and also become a sponsor of DGT Podcast. So, if you're interested, make sure you email me at DGT313podcast@gmail.com. Again, that's DGT 313podcast@gmail.com. And Sharonda, back over to you.
Awesome. All right, so let's jump right back into it. Next, let's talk about these 401k plans. A lot of us who have a 9 to 5 will have an employer that provides their 401k opportunity for you to sign up. My advice is to please, please, please sign up, especially if your employer does a match. A lot of companies nowadays are matching between anywhere between 3% up to 6%. This is free money. Please do not leave this money on the table. And it is pre-tax money. So they deduct it from your gross and you won't even miss it. You'll never see the money. You'll never miss it. So if your employer are participate in the 401k match, please sign up. Sign up for it. Do not leave that money on the table. Now, a good way for you to be able to optimize this is at the by the end of the year, you max out that contribution. So for 2025, if you're under 50 years old, you can max out at $23,000. If you're over 50, you can max out at 30,500. Now, a lot of people may be saying, oh my God, that's a lot of money. If you've ever looked at your pay stub or even logged into your 401k provider account under your account, by the third quarter, let's say maybe around August, log in and look. You will be surprised how much you've contributed thus far at that point. I It's been times when people looked at it and they'll be like, oh my God, I've already contributed like $15,000 or $19,000. And if the max for 2025 is $23,000, that's not much. You can actually reach out to your payroll manager or HR, depending how the organizational chart is structured, and speak with them and say, hey, I really want to be able to max out this year. Can you help me calculate how much I'm away from that amount and divide that equally amongst the remaining paychecks that I have so that I can max out? It's just that simple. Just that simple. I advise everyone to do this. And you might be thinking, like, why would I want to contribute extra money to be able to max it out? Because we're thinking long goal. Okay. So if you do that, tax purposes, that money that you contribute to max out will help reduce your taxable income. Why? Again, like I said, the 401k, that is pre-tax money. So it helps decrease your taxable income. And if it decreases it enough, it'll help you decrease all the way down to a different tax liability bracket, which will then open you up to more deduction opportunities, credit opportunities. A lot of the credits are based off your income, your adjusted gross income. So if you reduce it, it will open you up to more credits. That is the long goal for being able to max out on your 401k. Now, for those who do not have a 9 to 5 and are entrepreneurs and they have their own business, the IRS has a 401k plan that's similar to a traditional one, but is really catered to entrepreneurs. And it's called the Solo 401k. And this is for self employed people. The only requirement is you have to have no employees to qualify for this one. So if you are on your payroll, you are actually considered an employer and an employee. So the benefit of this is that you get to get the 401k as an employer and then also the solo 401k as an employee. So you get two options secured towards your retirement plan. If you don't have it, you better sign up for it and get it, because that's two opportunities for you to grow two 401ks at the same time to optimize your wealth for your retirement. And again, many tax benefits. Do not leave it on the table. Do not sleep on these. Okay. Now, let me tell you about some a lot of people are sleeping on, because they don't know about it or they just don't have enough information about it. And that's what we're going to talk about next. We're going to transition to the Roth IRA. Now, the biggest difference between the 401k and the Roth IRA, the Roth IRA, it is you pay taxes on that upfront so that when you qualify for retirement, that's tax-free money. You already pay taxes on it. Okay. Whereas the 401k, you're taxed up front. The 401k, you're taxed when you begin to withdraw for retirement. So you have two different ends of the spectrum. 401k taxes when you pull it out for retirement, and the Roth IRA, you pay taxes up front. So that is just free tax-free money when you retire and you can receive it. So you can kind of see the benefits of having both of them. And yes, you can have both of them at the same time. For those who didn't know that, you can at the same time. And another thing, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, and I always try my best to let them share this information. Your employer provides you with a 401k, but if you have to ask. A lot of times they don't say it outright, but they also offer a Roth IRA, and you can get both of them with them. Yes, you can. Now, for the Roth IRA, you can max out each year, just like I was saying with the 401k. If you're under 50, you max out at $7,000. If you're over 50, you max out at 8,500. Again, it's one of those things where if you look at it around August, September, you'll be amazed how much you've already paid into it and how close you are to be able to get to that max out. And just like I said for the 401k, if you are not sure about how much that looks like, contact your HR department or your payroll manager, depending how the organization chart flows. But you'll want to end up speaking with someone in payroll and let them know, hey, I'm at $4,000. I need additional $3,000 to be able to max out for the year. Can you help me break that down in equal parts for the remaining payroll periods for this year so I can max out? And they would be more than happy to do that. So now you know, if you didn't know before, you can have a 401k and a Roth IRA at the same time. And there are some employers who provide a Roth IRA as well. Now, the thing about a Roth IRA, though, that I want you to understand is that if you make six figures, you could potentially not qualify for it. So the threshold for as of 2025 is if you make $160,000 or more, you don't qualify for it. However, get with your tax accountant or your EA. That's your enrolled agent. That just means that they know their stuff when it comes to taxes. They took an exam and they can tell you the ins and outs. That's an EA. Get with your EA or your tax accountant and say, hey, I really want to have a Roth IRA, want to get this benefit so that I can be able to have this coupled with my 401k. Help me. Now, this is the word you're going to use, okay? Help me be able to qualify for the backdoor Roth. What this is basically, and your tax accountant and your EA will have more knowledge on this, but they'll be able to break out your six figures so that you can backdoor into that and qualify to be able to have that Roth IRA. But it's something that you will have to do on your taxes every single year. Honestly, do it every single year so that you can be able to have this benefit. That's my 2 cents. Okay. Now that you have an understanding of your high yield savings account, your 401k, your Roth IRA, and being able to have both of them and benefit from it, these are things that I just shared with you in order to start growing your wealth now so that you can have a better future. Let's talk about how to protect it. So a lot of people will have all of this and then have no documents in place to protect it for them now and then for their generations later. Do not do all that hard work and not safeguard it for your children, your children's and children's children. So I'm going to talk about the essential items, the essential documents you need to have in order to protect your wealth. There are a plethora of ones that you will need more pertaining to your situation, but these are the basic ones you need to have. First and foremost, you need to have a living will. Now, the living will just states your healthcare wishes if you are incapacitated, and it also makes it very easy and relieves a little bit of more stress for your family when they get to the point where they have to make some really tough decisions. And it is important at any age, no matter how old you are. Okay. So, first things first, have that living will. Now, the second thing is to have a living trust. And you're like, well, if I have a living will, why do I need a living trust? They both do two separate things. The living will states in detail what your healthcare wishes are if you're not able to speak on your behalf, and it even designates the person who will be responsible. It states all of that for you. The living trust helps to protect your assets. So that's the difference. The trust protects your assets, especially protects them from being having to go to probate court and then paying all those fees for a judge to distribute and determine all of this. If you just would have had a trust, the probate court would have been evaded and the assets will go directly to the heir that you identified. And a lot of people think it's so hard to do a trust. Let me break it down real easy for you right now. A trust account, all you're doing is selecting whichever financial institution you want to go to. I preferably say one you already have accounts with and you have a relationship with. But if you don't like how they do business, go to a different financial institution. Let them know that you would like to open up a trust account. It's basically a bank account with the word trust at the end. So instead of your checking or your savings account, it is a trust account. A lot of financial institutions have a minimal dollar fee that you need to have in order to set it up. The smallest amount I've seen is $100. I've seen some for $200. Some people spend that in a month on going out to eat. Okay. So you can invest that into securing your wealth. Open up the account. You will need a trust agreement, which you will need to go to an attorney who specializes in family, trust, and estate plans. They specialize in those things. They can be able to drop a trust agreement based off all the information that you tell them that you, of all the assets you have. And you're like, what kind of assets? I don't have anything. I don't own any. If you have a car, that's an asset. If you have a house, that's an asset. If you have jewelry, those are assets. So you would tell them and they will list it out. You would provide this documentation to the bank when they open up the account and be able to in identification for your to identify yourself. And then they will be able to open up that trust account for you. But once you open it up, you have to fund it. You're like, well, what do I fund it with? That car that you have, that title to that car, get that title transferred to into the trust account as the beneficiary. That life insurance, I hope all of you have life insurance. That life insurance you have, get that beneficiary changed to the trust account, and it will. And after you pass away, the person who's in charge of your estate or your trust, your guarantor that you assign, they will have to show like your death certificate and give it to the life insurance, and that money will automatically go into that trust account to begin to fund. You see what I'm saying? The wealth. They'll be able to fund the wealth that then goes to your heirs and generation. So that is the trust account. The next one is the durable power of attorney. What does this mean? This just basically is you're authorizing someone to manage your finances if you can't make decisions. All right. So this is crucial so you can make sure your bills continue to get paid. Now, the durable power of attorney, they are not financially responsible for anyone's debt. No, they're just responsible for making sure your bills get paid using your funds, using your money. So they will have access to whatever bank account so they can ensure that your bills still get paid, but they're not financially liable for your debt. And then last but not least, after doing all of this, you got the trust account, you got business checking. I mean, you got your personal checking account, savings account, you got all of these things. You have your 401k. Please be sure to assign a beneficiary to them. You'll be amazed how many times people forget to assign a beneficiary. And just a little tidbit, we all have checkings account and we all have savings account. There is a line item there for you to assign a beneficiary. If you do not sign a beneficiary to that, it will go to the estate, and then you'll have to go to probate court and you have to sign all these, you have to pay all this money in order for that money to be released. And by the time it's released, they deducted so much that it's almost nothing. So even tonight, if you like, oh, I got a checking account, oh, I got a savings account, log on and assign a beneficiary to it. All right. And if you want that money from that bank account to automatically go into your trust, assign the trust as the beneficiary.
Sharonda, I just wanted to call out really quickly. One of the things that has happened over the years more frequently, and I think this is why this information is so important, is that our loved ones will have caregivers, right? And we've seen in many situations where all of a sudden this caregiver has now taken over power of attorney, all the beneficiary information. And so it's important to protect the assets of your loved ones. And then at a time when you don't think they can make decisions for themselves, you have to make sure you establish power of attorney, because I have seen so many people have a caregiver, a part-time person coming in helping their mom or dad, and next thing you know, this person is taking over everything, and now you can't even access your loved one. So I know this isn't a comfortable topic, but I just wanted to share that example because taking advantage of the elderly has been more and more prevalent lately. And even someone who has a disability, it doesn't have to be an elderly person, but it could be someone who may be trusting someone they shouldn't.
Agreed. Totally agree. Well, that wraps it up for me. But if you or your organization is seeking business financial management assistance or even more on these topics and would love for me to come in to teach your group, your employees, or be able to speak at the next event that you have, don't hesitate to reach out to me. All of my credentials will be provided. You can email my team at teachme@perennialfinancials.com if you would like for us to be able to come and teach your employees or your anyone in your organization. Or if you have an event coming up and you'd like for me to speak at that, you just email speaker@perennialfinancials.com as well. And I hope the biggest takeaway from everyone here, because I know this was a lot of information and I pray that you were not overwhelmed. If anything, start. Even if it's a small step, just start. Start, do one of the things on the list that I just presented to you. Start on one of them, complete it in its entirety and just be consistent. You want to be able, you just really want to make the 80-year-old self financially secure and comfortable. Make decisions now so that when you are 70 or 80, you would be so proud that you did the work on the front end so you didn't have to suffer on the back end. I'm going to hand it off back to Tony Carter because I know we're going to open up for some Q&A.
I mean, you can hand it over to me, but I won't know the answer. So just being honest. So we'll look in the comments section. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, Makia said, thank you, Sharonda, for the information. This was very helpful. The process, oh, after her grandmother passed away. So sorry to hear that, Makia.
Hmm.
And, you know, a lot of this stuff wasn't done, unfortunately. Any
I'm so
questions? So I got to open up a lot of accounts to get this yacht and to be able to retire myself in 10 years. So I would definitely be reaching out to you and then filling out all the documents because I want a quarter to go to my mama, out of my 50 cents left. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, I see that Layla Williams made a comment. She said she didn't know about the trust bank account. A lot of people don't. You'll be
I didn't know.
surprised. Yeah,
Let
and
me.
it's really easy to do. A lot of people will be surprised. I had someone at a family function who was just casually talking. They said they just need somewhere to put their money. I said, well, open up a trust account. And they was like, well, what is that?
Okay, I think we have another question. Hold on. Uh, can you all see it? Should we pull out our money from the market because of Trump policy?
I, I am not here to give financial advice as it pertains to the stock market. I think the stock market is a lucrative place to make money, but I am not an expert. I think you should.
I think you should watch your money and make the best decision on what you see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Make the best decision for you and your household.
All right, we got another one. How do you get a? Oh yeah, because I didn't know about a 401k as a solo business owner.
Yeah, so they have the IRS rolled out the solo 401k. they still have the SEP, which is the self-employed program. They still have that, but the self-employed program is for employers who have multiple employees. The solo 401k is for entrepreneurs where they have no employees or they are the employee. You can sign up for that at actually, if you go to irs.gov, they have a list of providers that you can potentially look at, but they kind of say it without saying it. They really don't want to be want to give you that advice of who to go with, but you can really Google anyone and see who provides that for you. I'm pretty sure, like some of the really big ones that come off the top of my head would be Charles Schwab, Fidelity, I believe Empower. Those are some are that you can look up and get some details and see if they provide it. And it'll be the same as if you were with a 9 to 5. They'll ask you for some detailed information and you would sign up for it as an employer and then also be able to sign up for it to benefit from it as an employee as well.
Okay. Do you have recommendations that are best to work with for trust accounts? Do you have recommendations? This is from Makia. Do you have recommendations on institutions that are best to work with for trust accounts?
The first thing I always say, work with banks that you already have a relationship with. So if you have multiple bank accounts with a particular financial institution and handle some of their products like a credit card, or you have a line of credit, you have your mortgage there, I say work with them first because you already do business with them. And especially if you feel like you're happy there, most definitely go there because you already have the reputation, you already have all their products. Now, if you're like, hey, I'm thinking about switching banks, I don't really want to be with them, then I say go with a financial institution that you believe will support you in the capacity that you need. Are there any specific ones out there that provide this service that I think is the best? Um, there are none that I really think that is the best. I will say from experience speaking with other people, first they just went with who they already had a relationship with. And if they didn't, the next one that a lot of people like was Wells Fargo. And that was because of the minimal amount that you had to put down. Another one a lot of people went with was Chase Bank. Again, that was because of the minimum that you needed to put down in order to open the account. But I say go with the financial institution that you have a relationship with.
Okay. And I think that is it for the questions. Sharonda, is there anything else that you wanted to cover with us as we close out?
My biggest thing is don't ever feel overwhelmed with any of this stuff. I know that a lot of this, especially the tail end of it in regards to essential documents you need to have, it's like sensitive conversations that a lot of people just don't want to have. But I honestly believe that a little bit of discomfort in order to ensure comfort down the road is well worth it. Do the legwork now so that you don't leave a lot of additional heartache and stress for those who love you. Um, I say do the work now, especially a lot of us who have experienced a close loved one who has passed away and saw a lot of the stress that was put on the loved ones. Do the work now. It's very uncomfortable, but plan now so that things could be a little bit smoother in the future. And don't ever feel overwhelmed. Do stuff in bite-sized pieces. Just be consistent. Start small. Open up the high yield savings account. Start small. And if you want any recommendations on high yield savings account, right now, some of the top ones that give you anywhere between 4.6%, even up to like, I've even seen 5.3 would be American Express, Capital One, um, SoFi, and like honestly, a lot of the financial institutions that are online that do not have brick and mortar are the ones that's offering these high interest rates. But those are three that I will recommend right now.
Awesome. All right. I don't see any more questions. Wait. Hold up. I got more. Sorry. Okay. But can a caretaker file taxes under a deceased person name they were caring for?
Can a caretaker file taxes under a deceased person's name they were caring for? That one is a good question. I only know about a husband and wife.
Hmm.
For a caretaker, I would say reach out to a tax accountant or a EA, which is an enrolled agent, to get more detailed information about that. They will have more expertise to be able to speak on that than I do.
Yeah, but I imagine they would have to be somewhere as not that I'm answering the question by the way because it's not my expertise, but I'm just thinking like in order to file taxes on anyone, you typically have to be able to show that they are dependent.
Yeah, that'll be the first thing. But yeah, you almost definitely need to speak with an EA on that one. Because I only know as far as it pertains to a husband and wife.
Okay,
Anything outside of that, I'm really not sure about someone who's deceased being able to file for them. Yeah.
okay. And what is the EA called again?
Enrolled agent.
And where do you find them at? I never heard of that.
Yeah, you can actually go to irs.gov. They have a list of enrolled agents across the US. So, an enrolled agent is someone who studied taxes and took a state mandated exam. And now they're considered an expert in IRS, and they have to take qualifying continuous education classes every single quarter and have to
Quarter?
have a, yeah,
Wow.
every quarter, because they have to have a certain amount by the end of each year to maintain that certification. So it's like the equivalent to being like a CPA, but more so on the tax side.
Yeah, I think that's good for all of us to know because we look for our tax accountant to have all the answers. But if there's someone like an EA that we can call through the IRS who is dedicated to recertification and just being up to speed on all the knowledgeable things, I think it wouldn't hurt to make those phone calls, even for some of these very specific and unique questions, because they will have the most recent IRS policies and procedures on it. So that's a good learning too.
Yeah.
All right. And so someone said my grandmother used to tell us that life insurance is everybody's guaranteed lottery ticket.
It is. I agree with that. Who said that? People for yeah, I agree. It is. It's it because someone said it best. They said at some point we all are going to leave.
Hmm.
So why not make sure that the people you leave behind are set up for success? Last thing you want is for your wealth to stop at your child. You want to be able to continue on for multiple generations.
I totally agree. All right. Well, I think that was all the questions. Oh, and thank you. I think we have some more information up here from Resilient Radio Stream. Just a wealth of knowledge. Thank you. All right. Well, Sharonda, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think, first of all, you made this topic very interesting because it's not a sexy topic. So thank you for really taking this time because generational wealth is really important in our community. And, building our legacy, protecting our assets, those things are really, really important to what we're trying to do. And I know it's something we don't like to talk about and things that we don't want to think about, but I think it's important to, for us to really build the lifestyle that we want to have. And I think it's everything that you shared today, nothing was unrealistic, nothing was off the table, nothing felt like where I was like so overwhelmed I had to take a nap after this. Sometimes you get so much information, you're like, oh, I need to like process it. But I feel like you did a good job of making it simple also, but making it clear what's important and why it's important. So thank you so much. I also want to just share personally, I'm really proud of both of us. So Sharonda is actually my cousin, and we worked really hard not to call each other by the nickname. So I did not call her Pumpkin, and she did not
Yes.
call me Pie.
It
But
was
that's what we
hard.
it was hard, but we did it for about 40 minutes straight, but 45 minutes. But we could go back to our regular schedule program. But as your family member, your cousin, I'm extremely proud of you. I really feel like you have educated me over the years, and I'm so glad that you decided to come on this platform and continue to educate people globally, because it's a conversation that needs to happen more often than not. If you didn't get all your family members on this webinar, on this live stream, I encourage you to watch it at a later date and have a conversation with your family. You will find all of my podcast episode on the Resilient Radio stream. So grab your family, jump on the Zoom, and say, "Hey, let's watch this episode of DGT and have real, honest conversations about planning for your future and planning for the unexpected." All right, so what's coming next? Thank you so much, Sharonda. We have more conversations about small businesses coming up. So, really looking forward to that. If we can go to the next slide. So Sabira, my other cousin, actually, I don't know if she's on the call, but she is going to spend time with us on how to maximize our tax knowledge on as small business owners. So that is her expertise, and that's going to be in season 2. So Money Moves season 2, volume 2. You will have Sabira, who's going to spend some time on that with us on how to maximize as a small business owner and really build out the wealth with the entrepreneurial spirit. Wow, I can't believe it's season 9. So coming up for the last episode for season 1, I can't even believe that we went through a whole season, but we have. Is Boss Moves, and we're going to have several entrepreneurs in the DMV having an honest conversation with us on what it means to be an entrepreneur and what their transformative journey was to get there. So that is next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll have a bunch of bosses in the DMV sharing their story, their transformative journey, and dropping some gems. So check us out every Tuesday, 9 o'clock for Transformation Tuesday, as we share our stories and our transformative experiences. You can follow me on IG at DGT_313, on Facebook at Detroit Girl Transformed. You can also catch me on the Resilient Radio stream. It's transformation time, baby. Thanks for joining, everybody.